Well, police in the Eastern Cape are tonight investigating two separate shootings which have claimed the lives of 10 people. 3 people were killed by unknown attackers in Biki, while 7 others were shot in Qunu. All of this happened yesterday. Police spokesperson Tembi Nkosi says investigators are looking into the possibility that the crimes are linked. The motive for the killings remains unclear at this stage, and officials are yet to make any arrests.
The SAPS confirms 2 separate incidents in which people died on Wednesday night. According to the information in Tanzeka village of Biki, 3 people were shot and killed by unknown suspects, whilst in one village of Qunu, 7 people were confirmed dead. The motive for the 2 incidents is under investigation. It is not yet established if there could be any link between the 2 incidents. Murder cases have been registered. No arrest has been made at this stage.
Well, speaking of mass shootings in the Eastern Cape, a memorial service has been held today for 7 people who were killed during a birthday party in Kwazakhele over the weekend. 2 men are said to have entered the home and then opened fire. This happened on Sunday, in fact. Our reporter Siphosethu Booi is at the venue for that memorial service in Gqeberha. Siphosethu, what's come out of that service today?
Pain, trauma, Tembekile, and just hurt throughout the memorial service. We spoke to some of the family members, one who mentioned to us, the Koliti family rather, the mother of Nandi Koliti spoke to us and just described just how much her child was a breadwinner to her and her family, and just highlighting and just putting a lot of emphasis on the fact that she leaves behind 3 of her young children, continuously crying and weeping, Tembekile, calling out her name, Nandi Pamdanam, Yini Umdanam, which just translates to why my child, Nandi Pa, my daughter. And we also spoke to the family of the youngest victims, Liema Boho, her sister, just describing the fact that she was doing her 3rd year. She was supposed to go and register for her 3rd year at the University of the Western Cape today, and she had dreams of wanting to become a professional teacher, and the fact that Uliema's no more. Now it means that they're back to square one, as they were working hard as a family to put her through to school so that she can change the situation at home. So you can imagine that half of these victims were people who were breadwinners to their families. These were people that made sure that they were instilling hope and were hope to their family. Now all of that is gone, and I'm going to be speaking to the mayor now, Tembekile, who's going to speak to us in terms of the importance and also what he took out from the issue of safety, in and around the issue of safety, and also just these mass shootings that are happening in the city of Gqeberha, especially in areas like Kwazakhele and New Brighton. Mayor Tifodendal, thank you once again for your time. I think the most important and critical point is safety. That is one part of the memorial service that I felt was more important. Speak to us about some of the measures that the municipality itself, as far as also just the Metro Police and all that Department of Safety will be doing in order just to ensure the safety of the residents of Gqeberha, as everyone at this point is still traumatized. Also just speaking to the community members, just also highlighting the fact that they no longer feel safe in the city.
Well, I think first of all we must just say that it is very clear this is unnatural. People in Nelson Bay don't know these kind of levels of crime, violent mass shootings that is basically massacres. So very sad scenes that we've seen here this afternoon. We have obviously reached out to the National Minister of Police and had discussions with him, as well as the provincial leadership of the police, to ask for additional resources. They've committed to send additional resources, and working closely with our own resource within the municipality to find these criminals, but also to bring some kind of normality back to Nelson Bay. As I've said, we are not used to these type of levels of crime, and assassinations is not something that we've seen in our city in the past, so it needs to stop, and we are adamant. But unfortunately, the community itself will also have to take a stance and work closely together with the police. We've seen a number of instances where there have been assassinations linked to tenders and corruption in the past, and I hope that this is not the case, but there is very much a chance that this is related to tenders and corruption, and if that is the case, we need to work hard to ensure that it never happens again, and make sure that our tender process within the municipality as well as in the provincial government is beyond reproach that there's no corruption to be found there.
If it is related to the issue of tenders and that type of business, rather, Mr. Mayor, then what could be the plan as far as protecting those that are also in the business of tenders? Because if this could happen, should it be allegedly also linked to that, what other measures could the municipality put in place to protect businesses and the people who are also in the business of tenders, protecting them, considering the fact that the economy is also just picking up after COVID?
Absolutely. One must remember that in Nelson Mandela Bay there's been a lot of fraud and corruption in our tender processes. We are number one in the country for one thing, and that's irregular expenditure. 20 billion rands worth of irregular expenditure on our financial statements, which means that each and every cent of that money was money that circumvented supply chain processes. That needs to stop, and we've put some measures in place to try and safeguard our processes in the supply chain, making sure that we do away with deviations on contracts, that the same contractors don't get the contracts year after year after year, and that our processes are just transparent and beyond approach, as I've said. I think that is a step in the right direction. Otherwise, we are going to see more of these types of instances which we can ill afford, and we owe it to our community to clean up our act as a municipality and as government.
Speaking about cleaning up the acts, Mr. Mayor, just quickly for us, how far are we sitting as far as some of the items that needed to be passed in, of course, the council? How are things looking there? Because in some instances you find that there was an issue of instability in the metro due to the fact that councillors, of course, from different political parties don't seem to be working together. Speak to us just briefly about what's currently, how the situation rather in council is looking.
Well, you know, it's quite ironic. Today we had a council meeting and we have passed each and every item that was outstanding. There was a backlog in council items that needed to be processed, some dating back to about 9 months, a year. It's all been finalized. We've run out of items to pass, and parties are all working together. Yes, there's the political tussling in council from time to time, but they're working together because I think we all realize how broken Nelson Mandela Bay has become. And we owe it to the people of Nelson Mandela Bay to get this great city working again.
Mayor Retief Woodendal, thank you very much for your time, Thembekile. And that was the mayor just talking to us about also some of the possible motives that could have resulted to the mass shooting that took place in Kwazakhele over the past weekend. Of course, allegedly, he says that this could have been a situation where this mass shooting was a result of a tender procurement, and also just some of the issues he highlighted, the issue of safety and making sure that all the people that are also in the business of tenders be protected in the city should the mass shooting be a case of those circumstances. And also we do know that the Sishuba family will be laying their sons, Andile Sishuba as well as Vusumzi, tomorrow. Thembekile.